I don't know if Ubisoft is just that clueless as to the impact of the Splinter Cell franchise, or if the game studio is in such disarray after all these crazy sexual assault and weird harassment allegations. I don't know what is going on over there. I can tell you personally, Splinter Cell and this image, just this image of these three little dots of Sam Fisher's night vision, brings back so many memories and so much nostalgic goodness from me. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. For years, fans have been clamoring, why can't we have a new Splinter Cell game? And for years and years and years, we waited. It was always a running joke when we had the Ubisoft press conferences around the time of E3 that, okay, this is going to be the year that Yves Guillemot or somebody from the creative team is going to say, but wait, we have one more announcement. And then we're just going to see these three lights light up. And that's all the teaser we need to know that the next Splinter Cell game is in fact coming. But no, in the least anticlimactic, most boringest fanfare announcement ever, Ubisoft decided randomly on a afternoon, December 15th, which was a couple days ago by the time I get around to actually uploading this video, that, oh yeah, we're going to work on a Splinter Cell remake. As if this isn't major news to anybody who played this franchise or any fan of stealth combat gameplay. But here you go. Ubisoft released a tweet which feeds into the official Ubisoft blog. Embedded in the blog is a YouTube clip. We'll jump over to that in a moment. With both of these, I will put the I will put the links to these in the description box below. So while you're down there subscribing to the channel, you can go ahead and read about this for yourself. It reads, Ubisoft has greenlit the development of a Splinter Cell remake that will draw from the rich canvas of the brand. Led by Ubisoft Toronto, the game will be rebuilt from the ground up using Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine, the same engine being used to develop Avatar as well as the upcoming Star Wars game to deliver new generation visuals and gameplay, and the dynamic lighting and shadows the series is known for. And then here's the link to the video. We'll get back to that in a moment. When you hear remake, what do you think? Okay, well, to me, I think of the greatest remake I have ever played, Final Fantasy VII. Now, that is obviously a very unique situation because that game was really more of a shadow sequel to the game. It wasn't so much a shot-for-shot recreation of what happened. They injected a significant amount of additional content, and they streamlined some areas, and they made it very different. When a lot of people think remake, it really just becomes a glorified remaster. We're going to take the old blurry polygons, we're going to push them through a new engine. You're going to get fancy, pretty new lighting effects and fancy, pretty new visuals. But the core gameplay, the level design, everything is an almost one-to-one recreation. We've seen this on Halo Master Chief Collection, most notably the first one and actually the second one, both Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2. We've seen it. Blue Point's had a career of this, most notably doing, I believe their last one was Shadow of the Colossus. Actually, Demon Souls. They did Demon Souls after, actually. So this isn't a novel concept. It's just interesting to me that this is the route they chose to took. They chose here. But I will say this. I really honestly believe Ubisoft did the right thing here by going back and kind of wiping the series clean. There were a lot of very bonkers type announcements and developments that occurred within the Splinter Cell universe. I'm not even talking about the little ancillary piece of stuff that we got during the Ghost Recon crossover event. I'm talking about just the core Splinter Cell games. By the end, it was a very different Sam Fisher. His family, his life, everything was very different. And honestly, it's probably hard at this point to honestly continue that story. It's been so long, it makes sense for them to go back. So I think they did the right thing here. That said, the way they announced it is absolutely bizarre and baffling, and you will not convince me differently of that. The blog goes on to indicate a series of Q&A with some of the development team and some of the people that are involved in the project. And what they go on to say, I'm not going to read everything here. You probably read it while I was rambling a moment ago. But essentially, they're saying that they want to keep it true to the original. We're not going to be making an open world game. We're going to be keeping it linear, which honestly seems like kind of a mistake, especially after seeing what Halo Infinite has done for that franchise. But they talk a lot about, that is a key driving factor is keeping it to what it was. They want to focus on the stealth action gameplay. Obviously, that was really the whole point of the first game. And they want to make sure that they are really building up this new engine and using it the best way that they can. Splinter Cell was an absolute technical marvel. I remember playing it way back when on my Nintendo GameCube, and it looked phenomenal for that piece of hardware. The ability to toggle between regular vision, night vision, and then this thermal vision really gave you a sense of stealth, how dark the darks were. This was before a world in which HDMI existed, so it'll be really interesting to see how much darker and more vibrant we can make the blacks in this game, where you're almost completely blinded. It's almost as if your TV was turned off, especially if you have an OLED television display and how that technology works. Really, really exciting stuff, and I'll be curious to see if this new engine can really capitalize on some of the shadow and stealth gameplay elements of the Splinter Cell universe. And they talk a little bit about the Snowdrop engine and kind of what the advantages are. The reality is the advantages are it's better than anything they've made before. It's a new engine that's going to be designed from the ground up. It's going to push the next generation consoles, hopefully, to their limit, especially on PC, where we should get some ultra-wide gameplay out of that. That'd be really exciting, too. And then it goes on to ask the team what they remember about Splinter Cell. The truth is, I don't care what the team knows about Splinter Cell. And additionally, the fact that none of the original players are on the team may actually bode well for this development studio. Basically, hey, look, everybody who worked on the game is long gone. We're new people with fresh ideas, taking a look at that original gameplay concept, and we are going to find a way to modernize it and bring it to the future. The one thing they say out of this whole thing that really did get me very excited was that they said, hey, listen, we are really going to do a very good job of making this a leaping off point for subsequent delivery. So if this game does actually not suck, which I suspect it'll be good, and if this game sells well, you can rest assured that it's going to be back on the platter for Ubisoft to serve every few years like they have with some of their other tentpole franchises. Me personally, and I think that's really about it for the blog. Yeah, we'll jump over to the video. I'm just going to leave it on mute. There's not a really whole lot here to kind of dive through. You could just look at some of the basic gameplay and how dated it looks. Notice it's not an ultra-wide. At the time, ultra-wide was not a format. Not even ultra-wide, just widescreen was not a format. This is your old standard square television set. Just to give you an idea of how dated this game was, but how beautiful it was at the time, considering some of the great shadow effects and the thermal vision here that you see highlighted. The fact that Sam Fisher had a litany of gadgets and gizmos to help him navigate through this world. It wasn't just a traditional shooter. It was a game that really did rely on being stealthy and crafty. And I hope that going into the future, we can see a lot of that. And we can see improvements that have been made on the audio engine. And as I talked about briefly, with some of the graphics, with the utilization of high definition resolution and really dark colors that really make the night vision pop, and advanced AI and new networking features and haptic feedback on controllers, and maybe even a little bit of love for us PlayStation people with maybe some nice throws to the DualSense controller. Either way, I'm very excited. Sam Fisher has been, for me, and I suspect many other people who grew up playing video games, really an icon for a very long time. And it was very weird to me that this game took so long to finally come back. You know, especially with the tie-in to Ghost Recon and getting Michael Ironside to come back and voice the lines again and to be in there. And I was like, this is it. We're going to get like an old Sam Tale. Here he is, an old, grizzled, burnt up, washed out agent who's coming back for one final mission. And I was like, this is great. And then it never happened. So while I'm equally as excited that the game is finally coming out, I'm also as equally confused as to why the announcement was generated with such little hype or fanfare. I think I'm more excited about this game than Ubisoft is, and I'm not even making the damn thing. So if you're interested, congratulations, join the club. This is a phenomenal franchise that may not have aged as well as it should. I don't know. I haven't gone back and played it anytime recently. It's not really highlighted on Xbox Game Pass or any other backward compatibility type services that I'm aware of. Maybe it will be now. I'm sure it's on the Ubisoft Uplay if you could ever get that stupid service to work. I doubt it. I did a long video on why I hated it, by the way. But I'm happy. The truth is, we're going to have to wait a very long time. If this game is in what they call early development, you're probably not going to be looking at anything that you could sink your teeth into for at least 4 to 5 years. I mean, at that point, who knows? We might be on to PlayStation 6 or Xbox Series Y or whatever the hell they want to name the next thing. But we've got a ways to go. However, for right now, we can at least take a little bit of solace in knowing that at one point in the future, in our lifetimes, we will see Sam Fisher once again. And for me, that's good enough for now. Hope you guys found this video informative. Thanks again so much for watching and making it all the way to the end. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.